Freminet is the most fun main DPS character I've had the experience to play for quite a long time. Despite the fact that he looks shy and timid and basically had almost no screen time in the Archon quest, however surprisingly did give him a very fun and viable kit because guys, I can tell you that this character can do very decent damage. As usual on the channel guys, today we'll be looking into the top teams that Freminet can be featured in at the current point in time, so that for those of you who did get Freminet and have built for him would have many different teams to test him out. So with that out of the way guys, let's just dive into the video. Now first off, before we move on to the teams, it's important that you take notes into some of the most crucial things whenever you're using Freminet, so that you're quite aware of his gameplay and playstyle at first. Now the reason why Freminet can be pretty unique is first off, he has basically two playstyles that you can build him around, which is first either a physical or a cryo playstyle, and how you play out two of this build on Freminet is rather different. So whenever you activate his E skill, he will enter a state that calls Pulse Timer for 10 seconds, and this has a pressure level that goes up to a level 4 every time you do a normal attack. It will goes up a level, but basically the only two level you want to keep in mind only is going to be a level 0, which is where he will be dealing good cryo damage, and a level 4 where he will be dealing good physical damage. And this is the bread and butter of how you're going to be playing either a physical and cryo DPS gameplay, since of course if you are building him physical, then you will be focusing on dishing out a level 4 shattering pressure, and if you are cryo, then you will be focused on doing level 0. How you cast level 0 is just basically after you use the first E skill for him to turn on his Pulse Timer, you just immediately cast his E skill again, then that would dish out a level 0 shattering pressure. But if you are in a physical build, then after you cast your E skill, you just spam your normal attack up to 4 times and it will just automatically do a level 4 shattering pressure for you. So as we can see, Freminet kits revolve around the majority of his E skill damage. He will also be doing normal attack here and there as well. So obviously normal attack talent level up will be quite beneficial for you because there is also damage in there too. Now his elemental burst is also the most important part of his kit too, because without this his kit will not work. The most important thing with his burst is that it has the ability to decrease his E skill cooldown by a 70%. So as we have known, his gameplay revolves around his E skill, therefore the more you're able to use his E skill, the more damage he will be able to do, and his elemental burst will allow you to do that. 70% cooldown decrease is basically a 3-second cooldown at the point where his burst is activated. However, he also has his A1 passive, which is beneficial too, is that whenever the Pulse Timer had yet to reach level 4, the cooldown of his E skill is also decreased by 1 second. So with this in addition with his burst, it will basically allows you to spam his E skill almost consistently, and there's only like around 1 second of a cooldown, and that is really fast, allow Freminet to do a lot of his E skill combo. What's also good about his burst is that now whenever he do his normal attack, it will increase the Pulse Timer by 1 additional pressure level, so that usually you have to do 4 normal attacks to reach a level 4, now you only have to do 2, and he is already at a level 4. So we can see that his elemental burst is very important for both cryo and physical playstyle. A4 is also very good. It allows him to take benefits of Shatter's reactions, because whenever you deal Shatter, the damage you deal from his E skill will be increased by 40%, and considering that most of the time I would say that he will be doing some kinds of Shatter reaction here and there, that is almost a free 40% damage increase to his E skill. However, the biggest downside is that this will not work on larger bosses enemies because they can't be frozen, so that kind of sucks I would say. And so we already know that Freminet have two playstyle, is that it's either going to be physical or cryo, and I would say that the difference between these two playstyle and build isn't too much entirely different. The main thing for you to choose would be whether or not you like the playstyle, or if you already have the dedicated support character to help Freminet in terms of those playstyle. Now for physical, obviously you will be going for the 4-piece Pale Flame set, as that is quite literally the only best physical set we have in the game up until this point. Physical Freminet playstyle will be you focusing on casting his burst, using his E skill per timer for the first time, and then spam your normal attack until you end the E skill at level 4, and then afterward you just cast his E skill once again and rinse and repeat. Now for Cryo, you'll be going to build with a 4-piece Blizzard Strayer, and his gameplay would be around you casting his burst, doing his E skill, and then spam his E skill immediately afterward within a normal attack, and then spam his E skill all over again. So that should be some of the most important thing you want to remember whenever you use Freminet. Now we'll move on to some of Freminet's best teams. First team, we have Freminet, Xingqiu, Fischl, and Beidou. A bit of a variant taser team, but works absolutely well for him because all of the characters on the team would be supporting Freminet so that he can deal the most damage possible while having a huge off-field damage support for him as well. It's one of the best free-to-play teams you can have because all of these characters are 4 stars. Xingqiu will be here to help out with hydro application for freeze, off-field damage support, and most importantly healing capability for your on-field character. Beidou is going to be here to give you some extra shield so that Freminet can have more survivability along with Xingqiu's healing and rain sword damage reduction. She will help with electro application for superconduct because of course superconduct is absolutely important whenever you are in a physical build, and Fischl as well so that we have electro resonance. A lot easier for your character to have your burst back because it's help with energy regen, and overall Freminet is going to be the character that is able to trigger all of these characters of field support because Xingqiu and Beidou requires normal attack weaving, and of course if you have a Fischl C6 too, normal attacking in between is also important for her to trigger more ORS damage. Very simple team to run guys, just basically setting up all of the other characters burst and then having Freminet being on the field cast his burst and then do his physical damage combo. Second team, we have Freminet, Yelan, Cookie, and Shanha. Shanha can be one of Freminet's best support, if not the best in terms of damage increase. Not entirely for physical gameplay, but for cryo. Yet for physical she can still help because she has access to physical resistance decrease, plus also a 15% E skill and burst damage increase from her passive, alongside with her being a cryo character who usually have bonus lance onto her if you are free to play, therefore helping out a lot with Freminet's burst uptime. So Shanha is a very valuable character you can find on Freminet's team. Yelan in place of Xingqiu, if you have her, amazing hydro applications, always better off-field damage support for you, and of course she has attack increase for Freminet from her passive, which is really good. Cookie for healing as well as electro application for superconduct. The most important thing to note is to try and have everyone's burst up as much as possible. Therefore, energy recharge management is very important, especially for Freminet and Yelan who rely on their burst in this team. Next, we move on to some of Freminet's cryo build team. First off, we have Freminet, Changyun, Kokomi, and Kazuha. Changyun is a very valuable character on cryo Freminet's team because he has access to E skill Frost Field so that Freminet is able to weave in cryo normal attack, making more use of his cryo build. Not to mention Changyun will also have the ability to decrease his E skill cooldown, allowing you to even further spam your E skill much easier. Kokomi here of course for the majority of the healing and hydro application, while also having access to Thrilling Tales of the Dragon, increasing Freminet damage by 50%, and that's really good too. Kazuya of course for cryo shred as well as cryo damage increase, so a very valuable member being here on this team. Next we have Freminet, Shanha, Yelan, and Jin. Shanha this time around, she will be able to fully buff Freminet with her cryo support kit. So yes, you will be able to see Freminet doing some high cryo damage number. Yelan here in her usual role of helping in terms of freeze and getting Freminet that shutter help. Jin's a very important character on this team because she has access to healing as well as cryo resistant shred, but also if you do have a Jin C2, she will be able to buff Freminet normal attack speed as well, and that's also also going to be a decent support coming from her. Next team we have Freminet, Yelan, Kuki, and Nahida. Basically a Hyper Bloom team with Freminet being the driver. Probably not the team you might be expecting, but this team has the potential to be one of the best performing team out there for Freminet, since it's more about taking off the burden of Freminet being the character who deals all of the damage on the team. The other team we've discussed mainly having Freminet to be the character to do most of the damage, or either character like Xingqiu, Yelan helping out a bit with off-field. But with this team, basically all the party member in the team will be contributing to some kind of decent damage help. Yelan with her off-field damage as usual, Nahida for further sub DPS support, as well as being there to create Dendro Core, where Kuki Shinobu will be coming in for the healing and most importantly triggering Hyper Bloom. So Freminet here can become the driver and still doing damage since there is Super Conduct being triggered on this team, not to mention Shatter as well, since we have Yelan here to help freeze and then Shatter. So I would definitely recommend you to try this team out, as it would be very fun and all of the character works absolutely well with each other. So those should be some of the team I have in mind in terms of discussions for Freminet at this point in time. I know that Freminet has the potential to have access to many different team comps, so if you do have any other teams that you are currently using for Freminet, feel free to leave it down in the comment section and I would love to see them there. Now guys, if you are someone who just pulled for Child on Freminet's banner, then I have a very in-depth video going through him in terms of his position in the current meta, and I'm sure it's going to be a very fun and valuable video for you. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me till this part of the video, and with that I wish you a super day and I will catch you on my next video.